As I walked into the theater to see this, I had one question. How are they going to do edgy in 2024? But of all my problems I had with this movie, that's not something I thought about once it actually started. Welcome to Sandwich Reviews. I'm the Talking Sentient Sandwich, and I had a lot of fun with isolated sequences in Rupert Sanders' remake of The Crow. Honestly, I think the biggest flaw was with the marketing, making this out to be a non-stop action thrill ride, because it's much slower and more grounded than that, especially with the action. Light spoilers, but the main character, Eric, shoots a gun inside a car and immediately realizes why that's a bad idea, because he just about gives himself tinnitus.
Mom. Excuse me. Ma.
Maybe the gore went too far at times. I'm mainly thinking of one moment in particular, where someone gets the South Park Canadian treatment, but I still loved all of that. But the story itself isn't just a revenge story for the sake of it. Though, by expanding that simple, worn-out revenge story, the writers tried to shape this movie into something more, but ended up falling flat. Though everyone involved does do a good job, between this, Boy Kills World, and John Wick 4, I'd say Bill Skarsgård has proven himself a leading man, and more than just the weird guy who does his crooked eye thing and puts on a freaky outfit. And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't any chemistry between him and FKA Twigs' Shelley, but I really wish I cared more about their relationship, but that's on the writers because everything was centered around their bond, and that's exactly where the movie lacked any emotional impact. For the antagonist, the filmmakers got Discount Stryker to play the same character he always plays, though he is interesting just from one piece of dialogue he says early on. However, with that, I have so many unanswered questions about him. And the first act, if you can even call it that, lasts way too long. But I understood the setup that it was doing and appreciated part of it, even if there could have been 10% less of it, and it probably would have had the same impact. Or should I say lack of impact. While the original is undeniably cool, it's also of its time and comes with a lot of problems. Problems that are addressed and somewhat explained in this iteration of the same story. But I doubt this will be worth your time or money. Maybe watch it when it comes out on streaming, but otherwise, I wouldn't check out The Crow. Because now, it's time to dive right into spoilers so that I can talk about what was changed in this version of the same story some of us know. First off, I kept waiting for the plotline that his crow was the thing that made him vulnerable to come out. You know, hurt the crow, hurt him, but that never happened. Nonetheless, I kinda wish Eric just popped out as the guy, fully formed, with the mentality he had in the third act, but it does make sense to have him develop slowly into that, even if it lengthens the runtime and makes the lore needlessly complicated. It's been a long time since I saw the original, and there's things I remember clearly and things I do not, but I'm pretty sure the villain was just a long-haired guy in the mob looking to get the building the main characters lived in. There wasn't anything supernatural going on with him, but please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I also could not be bothered to look it up. But in this remake, the villain has some sort of hypnosis attack, which was weird, but he was also specifically going after Shelley for a purpose that the main character had to figure out, which did grip me into the story. But I just wish I cared more about her and Eric's relationship, because the moment it was revealed that she savagely killed people for the villain, it just doesn't hit as hard as it should. So later on, when it turns out his power is tied to his love for her, and if he doubts that love, he'll lose it, that should have been the emotional crux of the film, putting me on the edge of my seat. But I didn't really care either way. And I talked about how much I loved the grounded grittiness throughout the whole film, but there was one moment that completely broke the immersion, and that was when Eric was dragging his bloody self across the street and absolutely no one stopped to help him. We as human beings are terrible, I acknowledge that, but of the half a dozen cars that passed him, it's hard to believe that not a single one even slowed down to consider it. But those are my thoughts on the remake of The Crow. If you've seen it, what did you think of it? Did you manage to have fun with it despite the flaws? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe for weekly video essays and reviews, and enjoy a delicious sandwich.